8 months ago, I was burnt out, depressed, and overworked. And now I'm the happiest and most at peace I've ever been in my entire life. And in today's video, I want to share with you the mindset shifts that I made to get to this point that I'm at now. If you're new here, my name is Brielle and I am a licensed therapist. I've been in the mental health field for years, and I created this channel as a way of creating community, and I really wanted to make this channel a safe corner of the internet where we can explore the depths of the human experience together, but also have fun. But let's get into the juice of this video, why we're all here, the mindset shifts that changed my life and hopefully can change yours too. If you hear my husband upstairs, I apologize. He's playing video games and he projects. He's got the voice of an entertainer and it shows. So bear with me. The first mindset shift that completely changed my life is realizing that nobody was going to come in and fix my relationship with myself for me. I realized at the beginning of this year that it was my job to make a commitment to building a healthy and positive relationship with myself, and that required committed daily action. So many of us are so wired and conditioned to think so negatively about ourselves, to talk negatively about ourselves, to speak about ourselves in a way that is so mean, honestly. And that can come from our societal conditioning. It can come from generational conditioning within our families. We hear how our parents, our grandparents are talking about themselves, and we take that in, especially when we're young and our minds are like sponges. I think in our society, more often than not, people speak more negatively about themselves than they do positively. And I know for a lot of my life that was the case. I was the first person to discount myself. I was the first person to be down on myself about my appearance, my accomplishments, my intelligence, my sense of humor. I think sometimes we think we're doing that in the name of humility, but the outcome just ends up being that we have a terrible relationship with ourselves because subconsciously we know we're more likely to discount ourselves than believe in ourselves. I grew up a dancer and I grew up in a really toxic body image culture, and that really impacted how I felt about myself. And I had to make such a conscious choice to interrupt that thinking pattern if I would ever think a negative thought about myself and replace it with something positive. Bear with me, I had to switch my environment because my husband is so loud. We're in my car to film the rest of this because when inspiration hits, you gotta press record, am I right? Going back to speaking about rewiring negative beliefs about yourself, how you rewire one thing is how you rewire everything. And for me, the biggest key was being so committed to not giving in to any negative thoughts that I had about myself. Because I think I'd been doing it for so long that it became so unconscious. So I had to make it conscious. I wanted to shift this pattern, so I made it conscious, and I started to become so aware anytime I would think something negatively about myself. And as soon as that thought would come up, I would interrupt that pattern and replace it. And our brains really want to cling on to our beliefs. Our minds don't give up our perceived problems without a fight. But you are not your mind, and you're stronger than your mind. And you always have the capacity to create and tell yourself new stories about your life and yourself, and anchor those in to your mind and your body so you wholeheartedly believe them. So of course I'm human. Sometimes negative thoughts still come up about myself, but the difference is that I come back from them so much more quickly because I don't automatically believe them. I automatically challenge them. And it's such a habit and a pattern now to challenge those negative thoughts. And now I'm much more likely to believe something positive about myself than negative because I created a habit around that. I made a commitment. So to nurture and foster a positive relationship with yourself, the biggest thing you need is a willingness and a commitment and a tenacity to treat yourself with kindness and compassion. You need to be a little stubborn about it, to be honest. The second mindset shift that changed absolutely everything for me was I do not allow myself to make choices from a place of stress anymore. I was in such a chronic state of stress that I was making big decisions for myself and my life and my family from a place of stress all of the time. And I just had this realization that the biggest thing I want in life is to live a life where my head, my heart, and my actions are in alignment. And everything I do and say and put out in the world is in alignment with who I want to be. And I had this realization that if I'm making all of my big decisions from a place of stress and fear and scarcity, how is that going to reflect my most aligned self? It's not. The outcome of those choices is going to reflect my most stressed out self and my most stressed state. And that's the opposite of what I want. So I made another commitment to myself that I'm not going to let myself make decisions from a place of stress. And we're human. There's no way that we can fully escape feeling stressed out or experiencing stress. And that's not the goal. We're always going to feel the full scope of what it means to be human. That's just how life works. That's, the game of being in this human experience. But with this mindset shift, it's allowed me to really anchor in this pattern of, okay, before I make choices, I have to realign. I have to recenter. I have to get back to a place of peace or get back to feeling my most grounded before I allow myself to make decisions or before I allow myself to seek out opportunities. Things got sweaty in here. I'm really doing the most to share these mindset tips with you guys. The third mindset shift that has changed everything for me is that more hustle and more work and more struggle does not equal more impact. I thought for so long that the more I did, the more productive I was, the more knowledge and accolades I accumulated, that would equal my impact. And I realized all it was doing was stressing me out, and I felt overworked to a point where I wasn't having any kind of positive impact because I wasn't really in a place to give. My cup wasn't full, so I couldn't fill anybody else's cup. And I truly think one of the best things that you can do for yourself and your work is, instead of focusing on being more productive, focusing on getting into alignment and being more aligned in your daily life and following your intuition and seeing how that impacts your work and seeing how that influences your ability to have a positive impact on other people. I've just realized that girl bossing and hustling isn't always necessarily the best route. It doesn't mean you can't be a hard worker or you shouldn't be a hard worker, but for me, I'm just realizing that if I take the time to get in alignment first before I do anything else or before I try to put something out into the world, what I put out into the world is always more intentional and always more impactful. So I've been living and realizing that more work just doesn't equal more impact. That you can do less and in turn give more to people if it comes from an aligned place. Mindset shift number 4, and this one might be the most life-changing, is focusing on how your life feels over how it looks. This has changed my life more than anything. I took 6 months off of social media at the beginning of this year, and I did this because I recognized my relationship with social media just wasn't healthy, and also that I didn't really know what my own opinions were anymore. I didn't really know what I liked, and I was kind of losing who I was because I was just taking in so much of who other people were and what other people liked every single day that I didn't really have time to sit in the silence and figure out what my truth was and how I wanted to pour into my own life. So taking that time away, I recognized, first of all, the compulsion to look at social media and also the compulsion to post on social media. It was pretty strong for the first month or so. I was doing something and I recognized this really hard thing to recognize of, I think I had been caring a lot about how my life looked up to that point. And that was not a conscious thing, and I didn't even recognize that I felt that way until I didn't have social media and I couldn't post what I was doing. And I realized in that moment how important it was for me to be able to really anchor in and lean into that lesson of, it is so much more important how your life feels than how it looks. I took as much time away from social media as I needed to in order to completely break that, honestly, addiction to social media and that compulsion to show people what you're doing that I didn't even think I had. But that time away from social media was so valuable because I really did learn how to fall in love with how life felt again. It made me realize what I wanted to prioritize in my life because I finally realized what truly feels good to me when nobody's around and nobody's watching. Life does not have to be aesthetic or Instagrammable to be so incredibly beautiful and good and to feel so good. And last but certainly not least, mindset shift number 5 that completely changed my life this year is learning how to take my time and slow down and lean into the moment and create rituals in my life for the purpose of joy. For the majority of my adulthood, I've truly stressed every single day about what my life purpose is, and it's caused me so much inner turmoil and so much sadness. And the intention was always good. I've always wanted to create community and help people, and I've always wanted that, and I didn't see a path forward. But the reason I didn't see a path forward was because I was always in stress. I was always in that state of tension and contraction, and I never really let myself lean into the moment and enjoy the moment just for the purpose of enjoying it. And I wish I could go back and tell myself to relax and slow down and enjoy the process, because when I was finally able to do that, I've had more creativity and inspiration, and I've had a more clear vision of the path I want to take because I've been so relaxed and in tune with myself and aligned than ever before. The stress never got me there. The being so worried I would never find my purpose never got me closer to my purpose. The thing that has gotten me closer to my purpose in this life is to lean into the experience of this life and to enjoy it and to really let my heart be touched by this life. So those are the biggest mindset shifts that have completely changed everything for me this year. They've truly lifted a boulder off of my soul and just allowed me to live the best year of my life so far. Thank you so much for being here, and please like and subscribe or share if you liked this video. I appreciate your time and your energy in being here with me more than you even know. It truly means the world. And let me know in the comments if you guys have been having similar mindset shifts this year or recently or in the past few years that have made you just feel more at ease and at peace. And let me know if you want more videos like this one, because I definitely have a couple more of those mindset shifts that I could share. And I just hope you all have a beautiful day, and I hope to see you soon.